Topic C, naming identifiers. Now, a naming identifier is basically a valid name you can use in Python. I'm talking about a name for a variable, a name for a function, even a name for a file. A file is also a module. So here is a guideline for, first of all, the rules of what you can use as a Python identifier. Main thing, lowercase, uppercase letters. Unicode identifiers are valid and digits 0 to 9. But basically, between lowercase, uppercase letters, underscores and digits 0 to 9, you should be good. When it comes to digits, digits are fine, but don't do a digit at the beginning of a variable name. Bad idea. Your program is going to crash and not going to work. So spaces or symbols that are outside of this cannot be used in naming identifiers. A Python keyword cannot be used. So if you type in, I don't know, sum or lambda or def, you're going to notice that the word you type in just changes color to orange, blue, purple. And that means that that's a Python keyword. You cannot use that as an identifier name. And out of these, the cannot begin with a digit, there is only one example that's kind of an exception, and I only mean kind of. If you have a file that begins with a 1, you can run that you can execute that particular script, but you cannot access it from another file because then that's going to crash. So next, we're going to look at some examples of valid identifiers, meaning of life. Notice underscores instead of spaces. 42, country Wakanda. All caps basically means, I strongly suggest you don't change that. That's a convention, not a rule, but that should be a constant. My div, you kind of got a string and letter 6. So numbers fine at the end, but not at the end. You should also know that capitalization matters. So foobar, lowercase is different from foobar, uppercase. So next we have Python naming conventions, and I'm going to cover why they're important before what the key ones are. Python naming conventions are important because if you follow them, you make program logic easier to understand. So if you select descriptive names for your functions or variables, the user, the reader, even you yourself are going to make more sense of it. For example, a function name like calculate area in centimeters squared, that function name basically tells you what the function does. You don't need to write a docstring or a comment. That's really helpful. Next thing, other people are going to use your code. And if you follow the same conventions as them and they as you, you're going to have an easier time understanding each other, even if you really like doing things a non-standard way. There's a good reason to follow conventions because, makes you more on the same frequency with other programs. Next, it makes automated refactoring easier. Now, automated refactoring is like a software feature which basically generally use it on larger code bases, but it basically pretties up your code and fixes some, I would say, logical redundancies. And that is honed to work on code that follows conventions. So you're going to make even robots' life easier, not just other programmers. I guess, finally, you have additional information, which it's kind of important. I'm almost repeating myself here, but so let's say you have a variable which is all caps. You're telling the user, hey, this is a constant. This should be a constant and you should be careful about changing it. So now let's have a look at some naming conventions. We prefer snake case to camel case or Pascal case. Now, personally, I started programming with camel case, and this is a habit that I'm finding hard to drop. But in this course, I've done my best to do snake case. The only exception to this is this Pascal case is generally what we use as class names. So this is sort of the rare exception to the snake case rule. I've already mentioned constants. Constants have to be in all caps. However, this is a convention, not a rule, so you can change the value of a constant. So in this video, we're going to take a practical look at the rules for naming identifiers and other variables. So the 4 rules that you should keep in mind are, just to iterate one more time, that identifiers consist of upper and lowercase letters, underscores, Unicode characters, and digits 0 to 9. They cannot begin with a digit, they cannot have spaces, and they cannot have Python keywords. So in this program, I have basically got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 invalid variable names, and we are going to fix them all one by one. So the $sign is an illegal symbol. It's neither an uppercase, lowercase character nor a Unicode character. So we can basically change that into a variable name like dollars, and that can be lots of money. So password, it is the space here. We can change that to camel case. We can have that as one word, or we can add an underscore. All of those are valid. I'm just going to go with the underscore for that one. My items, it is this symbol right here. That is an illegal symbol. So I can add an underscore, and now that is valid. 10,000, again, it is that dash. No, it's only underscores, normal, and Unicode characters. Now, import, bringing goods into the country. Well, that's not going to work because import is a Python keyword. So, I don't know. I think if we just make it a capitalized import, then it's no longer a Python keyword. And then, besides, the definition will stay constant. And finally, 2-pack. Yeah, if your name begins with a number, it cannot be a variable name. So we're going to have to change 2-pack to the more traditional, what's on his passport. And when I run this, we should be error-free. So there you go. That's a practical look at naming of variables and the rules in doing so.